So the bottom half of this shaft is watertight. It holds about 17 ounces of water. Break half a tablet, stick it in there, and it's good. You seal it back with that top shaft, it'll stay there. You can take it when you hike. This bottom part of the shaft also has gear stored in it, which we will go through here. There are 4 advanced lance tips or arrowheads in here. Razor sharp arrowheads. And a fairly good amount of fishing tackle. Weights, leaders, the line guide for the end of our fishing pole lance, and trout line setup. All stored down there at the end. So I still have a grapple. This is a good grip. This line on here provides grip, so I can pull myself up there. I can also wrap some paracord around here and on this shaft and throw this up into a tree or up into some brush or up into a rock to wedge it in there to pull myself up with the 550 cord that is on the shaft. So that's what's in the lower end of the shaft for right now. I'm going to take the grapples off. Again, they're stored at the end of the shaft in the cup. But for now I'm going to take them off. Very easy. And they're not going to let you down. So you saw when I pulled this apart, there was another unit on the end here. This unit has a gig for gigging animals or frogs or fish, and it is quite an effective little gig. It comes in 3 or 5 prongs. This is the 3 prong. It was in the storage position. You screw it on there. Now, you notice I have another 20 feet of paracord here wrapped around this shaft. That paracord is low visibility because we're going to use that for hunting purposes. So if you remove that paracord from there, tie it through this hole here, you have an effective throwing spear. Or gig. Also, you have an effective defensive tool. Now, the other arrowheads can also be used with this. There's many optional attachments for the end of this shaft. Various arrowheads. This is a very aggressive tip here. Once again, I can throw that very effectively. It's a nice throwing spear. It works well. You see that tip's going to engage something and stay engaged. Again, you have the four razor arrowheads in the tube there. You also have optional spear tips and harpoons that we can supply with this that will fit on this too. So there's a harpoon. Again, I can embed that in a sizable animal. We also have one that's more of a spear point, heavy duty. Not going to break if it hits a rock. Also on the end of here, one of the other things that's in the fishing kit here is a line guide. I have a net needle here with 100 feet of 30-pound test green line, a weight, and a hook. So I would pass that line guide, through the line guide here, and have my weight on it. I got effective casting rod. I can go fishing. I have line. I had another lighter line here with a smaller hook, also in the same tube, also available to me. Now this also detaches, so you have multiple weapon capabilities. You have this still to be a fishing rod if you want it. Or you can have this just being an effective short spear, defensive weapon. Also on the shaft, there's 18 feet of 2-inch wide heavy-duty duct tape, 8 feet of white trail marking tape, 8 feet of orange trail marking tape. So that's contained here. Again, that's an effective weapon right there. You can reassemble your shaft without that lance in it. This tip will also reverse. And when you reverse it, it will take any of these optional tips that I've shown you. They can all be attached to this shaft. And it can be this length, which is still a throwing spear, or if you add the knife back to it, which is quite easily done, you have a really long spear. Again, any of the tips will fit on the end of this. Any of the arrowheads, any of the lance tips. Your gig fits on it. Again, spearing fish. Excellent gig. There are a few other options that you have available. Let's go over the knife handle first. With 20 feet of paracord, utility blade, any general camp purposes, aggressive saw blade. On the end of the handle we have a compass. Not a fancy compass, but I can navigate with it. And a waterproof handle here. We have some more gear. We have 15 water treatment tablets. Provide you with 15 quarts of treated water until you can find another source. We have 8 compressed towelettes. These towelettes are useful as an excellent fire tinder, usable to make an emergency dressing. Makes a good gauze type dressing for emergency. It's good for hygiene and washing. It's useful as toilet paper. And multiple uses for these compressed towelettes. There's 8 of those in that container. We have some matches here. We have 15 storm matches. These matches will light anywhere. And they won't go out. Wet, wind, whatever. And 2 large needles. Well, 1 medium needle, 1 large needle. The medium one being for use if you need to stitch a wound up. So that's in, that gear is in this handle here. So with the gear out of the handle, you can screw that saw knife edge onto the end of the shaft. Basically, we made a pole saw with a really good reach. I can reach a long way with that saw. Saw a branch off a tree, retrieve a bird nest, fruit, nuts. Anything you can't reach, you can have extended reach with that saw. Very readily available for you. Well, that's about all the gear that's contained in the staff itself. However, we do sell an option, which has to be belt mounted, or you can keep it in your pack, which it's a multi-tool, just a general purpose multi-tool in the pocket there. There's also room in that pocket for added fishing gear, for this has blades on it and everything, regular nice heavy duty multi-tool. This pocket also has room for the extra lance blades. It has room for extra fishing gear if you want to put it in there. Good little pocket. So, but the main thing here, we have a small shovel head. It's steel, it's heavy duty, not going to come apart or break. So I take that shovel head and that secures to the end of the shaft. Now in this configuration, it's a pretty long handled shovel if you're going to dig something deep. But it's also a paddle. You build you a raft, you got a pretty nice little paddle here. Okay? For shoveling, you're probably a little better off with the shorter configuration here. This makes a pretty good shovel. So, now, if we're talking about defensive things, the maximum defensive capability we can have. Well, the best thing's always firearms, if you're confident to use them and they're available to you. Firearms are a good thing. But against anything other than firearms, this is the tool you want. Take that little nut off there. This can be the harpoon or the spearhead. Again, we have multiple arrowheads in there. I can stick one of those arrowheads on with this. So, there's a defensive tool. There's a defensive tool. There's another defensive tool. There's another one. You got one hell of a toolkit here. One hell of a weapons capability. So I've designed and I build these, so if you're interested, JOHN_WHIT@sbcglobal.net. Thank you.